Yo, it's your boy TD's here with Unfiltered Hoops. To the left of me, I got my boy Zach. I know a lot of you guys, girls, fans, parents, teachers, you name it, have been very excited to kind of see what this podcast was all about, what we want to bring to this area for the players, for the coaches, just for the basketball community. So I'm going to give you guys the why, and then Zach will tag along, like kind of why he wanted to do this as well. Just coming from a former high school, college player, coach, all of these are just different aspects, different perspectives of the game of basketball. You know, as a player, we see it differently on the court than what our coaches see it. And as a parent or just a student of the game that's wanting to come and watch, you all see it from different perspectives. So we wanted to provide a podcast that goes over analytics, that goes over players and programs and kind of what these players need to do to get to that next level. And it was just very much needed in this town. So, Zach, give them kind of your insight on why you wanted to do this.
Yeah, just to touch on what Teddy was saying, you know, we both played high school basketball, and, you know, it's easy to get lost. Like, Teddy was a very talented high school basketball player, probably didn't get the recognition he deserved, but that just goes to show, like, this area has a lot of untapped potential when it comes to talent. You know, all these media outlets, Prep Hoops, Hoop Mixtape, all these other things are going to Orlando, Miami, all these other bigger cities. So I think, you know, us doing this won't necessarily bring that attention, but more so give credit to open people's eyes that, you know, there is talent in this area. There is a lot of talent, that people that can play basketball, boys and girls. So that's a little bit on why, you know, I had my ideas, he had his ideas. So we're just going to kind of roll with this. And disclaimer, some people's feelings might get hurt, but hey, you know, I think this could be used as motivation for some teams, some players who didn't make the top 5 team list, player rankings, and that's just the reality that, you know, feelings do get hurt, but, you know, just know from us, no hard feelings, just personal opinion. So that's a little bit on my end of why I wanted to do this.
Yep, just like you said, like, we're not here to discourage any players. I'm here. I mean, most of you guys probably already know me. I'm here to help the community out in any way I can, but the main thing is constructive criticism. If you can't take that at a high school level and you know, see the critics from the outside, it's going to be very hard to succeed not only in college but in life, because I mean, at the end of the day, everybody gets up, they go to work regardless. If you know, if high school is your thing, you're going to work. Hey, you got to put in the work. If not, you're going to get criticized. Your boss, your coach might tell you, hey, you got to hit the door. So at the end of the day, we're not here to bring anyone down. If anything, we want to uplift everyone to make this area even more competitive than probably what it's been in these past couple of years. So to transition to that, we want to kind of introduce the team that we all are collaborating with. I'm pretty sure you guys have seen, you know, most of the guys on our team, you know, a girl, T Floss. They're going to bring so much more expertise beyond Zach and I from a camera standpoint. These are the, you know, we try to get the best of the best with our team, not only to help their brand, but to help every player that we're going to showcase and just provide, you know, that access and resource too. So without further ado, we're going to introduce, we got our boy Caleb Kiesel. He's going to be doing a lot of our podcast production, along with, you know, the highlights and the pictures and everything that some of these programs reach out to us for. We have James on the team. James is with Color Visuals. I'm pretty sure you guys have definitely heard of James. He's going to be doing the same thing from a video aspect of just providing raw highlights, pictures, anything social media related to the basketball players. We got Johnny with 9-4 Visuals and the 9 Network. Know a lot of people have heard about him. He's joining the team, and he's going to be pretty much providing the same thing as far as basketball content and just giving his insight in some areas that he focuses on. And last but not least, we have T Floss. She's with T Floss Visions. She's going to be bringing her expertise as well. And we're going to have our special guest, Ed Cherry, director of Swiffle Hoops. Pretty sure everyone that follows the page knows Ed Cherry. He's going to be on the team as well, giving us the ins and outs of the AAU scene, the high school scene, what needs to be done as far as a recruiting standpoint, and so forth, so forth. So,
and I think, you know, a big thing that we're going to mention now is what we're trying to cover. You know, at the end of the day, we listed 5 people. There's the areas that we want to cover and that we're going to try to cover is 30 plus schools. So I think to be realistic is, we're going to try to make as many games as possible, but we're going to go to, games that have a little more meaning. Whereas, like, if a team's 0-10 playing a 6-5 team, we probably won't go to that. If it's a 5-5 team versus a 7-5 team in a rival game, that's probably where we're going to be. And, we do have packages, that we post to our Instagram. So, if you do purchase a package, you kind of get a little more priority over, just games that we decide that we're going to go to. So I think that's a good thing to mention. We want to be at every game because that's kind of our goal, to kind of highlight teams that don't usually get highlighted. But at the end of the day, we're trying to promote our page as well, and that's where we're going to be. So I just want to mention that before, people are in our comments, oh, you don't come to our games, you don't come to our games. Well, you got to give us a reason to come to your game. That's just being honest.
And like it just comes down to competitive nature. I mean, just posting, the top rankings and the power teams right before the Swiffle Series showcase. We had so much engagement and interaction, and it just shows a lot of players are finally starting to not only be put on notice, but a lot of players may have felt disrespected. And I got to see a lot of talent from the Swiffle showcase, and I'm just like, oh snap, we might have missed out on this player. Like Zach said, we got a team of 6 people that are trying to cover 30 plus teams within easily 45, 50 mile radius, all the way from Bradenton down to Fort Myers, which is probably a lot further. So take some of the stuff as far as where we go, and with a grain of salt. Like I said, if you got talent, listen, we want to showcase it, because that's the whole point of this, is to showcase all the talent that's in this area that's getting unseen, and put everyone on notice. Our goal is to build a page. We got a lot of resources from, scouts. We got a lot of resources from college coaches. Like with the team that we have every resource to try to get players to where they want to be. But at the end of the day, it can't be a one-sided thing. Players, you guys got to put in the work too. But we'll get into, more of the recruiting stuff, once we have Ed on file. We're going to have some college coaches do a visit with us and kind of break down what's going on as far as the portal and how everything is going on in that aspect. But we're going to get into the power rankings that I know a lot of people were definitely second guessing and wondering like what the hell is going on. But without further ado, we're going to cover the boys first. The first team, obviously, I think that everyone agreed with as far as the boys with Gateway Charter. Zach, I don't know if you've seen this team play, but I think they have the right to call themselves the number one team in this area.
Yeah, and Patrick Johnson, who else? Trey Fogel, the kid that transferred from.
You got Miles Jones, and then the point guard. I forget his name, but number 2. I've seen him play. Like that team is dynamic. I mean, they have every piece that you would want a high school team to have as far as making a state run.
And a big part is the coaching too. RJ done a great job. He built that program up from nothing. So respect is due there. And I think a big part is coach-player relationship. You see that on the sideline.
Yep.
It's not just a coach. It's more of like a friendship. But it's when it's business, it's business.
Exactly. And when you have such a dynamic big like Pat Johnson, that it's just hard nowadays to find athletic bigs that are okay with playing their back to the basket. Everyone wants to shoot the ball. No one wants to be down there banging bodies and rebounding, and I mean he does it effortlessly. And then when you're surrounded with a great point guard they have running the offense, you got Trey Fogel, coming off screens. Then you got Miles Jones, which is arguably one of the best players, honestly, that I've seen in a while from a high school standpoint. That just a pure 3-level scorer. So
who was left off the top 15?
Yep, and he was
player rankings, and that's like what we're saying. We left him off. We not that we were sleeping on him, but and like Teddy said, he played well, and like I said, one of the most talented players we've seen. So probably on the next one he will be on there, and I mean, I don't feel like we have to apologize, but that's just the way life is. We missed it, and that's on us, and now we know. So,
moving to the next team, I mean, I think they're right there where they're supposed to be. We did have was it Palmetto?
Yep.
I think Palmetto was on there. Obviously, they have a top 100 player, ESPN.
He is 20th in the state, and he is a 4-star, and Evan Roberts.
Yep. So Evan Roberts, I'm pretty sure everyone's heard of, at least from this area. If not, you need to look him up. This kid is a freak of nature, very, very athletic, but also is a 3-level scorer. That he just does everything that you think a player with being a 4-star does. He does it, and he does it on a consistent base. So just having him kind of be the pillar of the Palmetto program, it's always been a steady program. It's always been on the up and coming. Now that he has his brother coming in too, that brings just another dynamic of just athleticism. So you got two guards that are just naturally athletic that, some of the stuff you just can't teach,
And who are also complemented by, their whole team is full of athletes. So.
Yep. So like when you have just, 5 people on the court that are just all athletic in high school basketball today, it's very, very hard to just go out there and come up with a scheme because you never know who's going to go off. Everyone is probably on the rim. Everyone's fast. They're probably long, athletic. They're probably going to press you the whole game, and it's going to be very exciting to see them play. I think the next team. I mean,
one thing is, one thing to note that Gateway and Palmetto are on 2 different ends of Florida. Palmetto's up in Bradenton, and Gateway Charter's down in Naples. So we might not see them play, most likely not, but that would be a game that we would definitely like to see.
For sure. Yep. I would like to just watch a scrimmage or something. They don't even have to play like an actual regular season game. I just want to see the athleticism because I think that both of those teams are just crazy athletic.
So number 3, we got Sarasota Sailors, who did graduate a lot of players, but have a talented freshman in Johnny Lackoff, who is, I hear, better at baseball than he is at basketball.
Yeah, it's crazy. I was just at Sarasota a couple of weeks ago, and I just learned he plays baseball, and I'm like, wait, what? And so many people have been saying like, yeah, he's actually probably better at baseball than basketball. But this kid is like, he might be the best shooter in this area. Like,
well, I know. Me and Teddy can attest firsthand. We both, coached at Northport last year, and we played him in the district championship, and I'm pretty sure he must have hit 4. He did hit 1 from the volleyball line, but he's just a player, who has the IQ, can shoot it lights out, and is young. So I think that's why we have Sarasota up there, and not to mention they're probably coached by one of the most
decorated coaches in this area. I mean, to be coached by BJ Ivey is just. You learn so much not only from like just a player standpoint, but just like a person outside of basketball. I mean, I played against Coach Ivey back when I was in high school and he was at Riverview, and we would come up with this great scheme of how we think we're going to beat him, and whatever he did during halftime as far as adjustments threw everything off, and it was always a battle playing against Riverview, but, that's just kudos to Coach Ivey and what he's done in this area. I mean, he's been doing this for a long time. So to be able to still do what he does now at a high level, you can never leave Sarasota out. And this Sarasota that's coming off, they are arguably, I think they were like at least, top 10 in the state?
Yeah.
Last year. So, it's not like I think it was like only a 1-year thing for Sarasota when you got Coach Ivey.
Yeah, and not to mention, he took a program that was probably, arguably, when we were in school at least, one of the worst programs in the area, and that's just the truth. You can look the records up, and they had talent, but the coaching wasn't there. So I respect BJ and what he's done, and it just goes to show that it doesn't happen overnight. His first year, I think they were the first team in the district. They were upset by Riverview, but just to make it there. First year's head coach just shows what kind of what good coaching does.
Exactly.
So and BJ also, I played against him in high school. He left Riverview, went down to Florida Gulf Coast, was director of basketball operations.
Yep.
There for 2 or 3 years. COVID hit, and that just kind of fell through. So he moved back, coached at ODA.
Yep, that's right. He did go to ODA,
and then got back at Sarasota. So, it's happy to see him, be successful, respect him a lot, and look forward to catching some games this year. Which I do think I'll be at. The first game is Venice at Sarasota.
Yeah,
so I think
yeah, and
that
that's
is a
always
game.
a rival game. I mean, I think Venice and Sarasota is rival in football. I think volleyball,
Not this
basketball.
year.
Well, yeah,
That game was 76-0.
yeah, we're yeah. That game was bad, but over the years, over like the history of Venice and Sarasota has always been a kind of back and forth thing. So yeah, probably going to be at that game. And then number 4, we got Charlotte, which after seeing Charlotte, after seeing Charlotte this Swiffle Series showcase, I feel like this team is probably definitely going to move up in the rankings. They could take that number 2 spot. They could replace Gateway with number 1. This team is just
Dynamic.
yeah. There's no way to really. I mean, they have every piece. I think you can put on a team and say, hey, go out there and get me a stop on defense. And when you do that, I want you to run in transition and either score the ball, get to the rim, shoot it. However you need to score the ball, do it. And then you're going to come back and play defense again and get a stop.
And I think a big thing with them is they at the end of they don't care who scores. They all have one goal. They want to win. They made the Final Four last year.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't do what they wanted to do, but it just goes to show that unselfish play. It's not all about scoring points. My favorite player to watch on their team is Dior.
Yep. Hey, Mr. 94 feet. If you don't know who Dior Evans is,
You will find out if you play him. If you are a point guard and you have to play him, I wish you luck.
I'm talking about a guy that literally will guard you 94 feet, and he takes pride in doing it. Like there's in today's basketball in the area, you just don't see players who take pride in defense the way like he does. Like I've never seen a player like just say like, you know what, coach, I don't need to. I will score 0 points as long as if I hold this player to 4 points, I did my job. I'm good. And Dior is going to give you that every single game.
And I mean, we can just go talk about this team for 10, 15 minutes. Jordan Tia, who just committed to Tusculum. Congrats to him.
Yep.
Well deserved. I've seen him
Yes,
since
sir.
he grew up, since he was 4th, 5th grade, and just to see how much work he's put in, I respect it a lot. Ja Chin, him and Jordan probably the best 1-2 guard in this area.
Yep.
Easily. Who else?
You got
Kyrie Ellis.
Yep. Another
Devin Jones.
dynamic. Yeah. You got to like Kyrie Ellis is one of those players too where all it takes is him to get going. And now you got like 3 guards you got to worry about. And it's already tough, at the high school level, guarding 2 guards that can put the ball in the basket. Then you add a third guard on there. That's when things get tough. And we haven't even talked about Devin Jones. I mean, DJ is. I don't know where this kid has gotten so athletic and twitchy, but he's going to be a player to watch for sure. I mean, if not by this first half of the season, second half of the season, everyone will know who Devin Jones is. I mean, he goes by DJ, but everyone's going to know. And then you got Jordan Taylor, 6'8", athletic, can pull up the mid-range, but likes to play down low. And he's a lefty. So tough when you have a big who's a lefty. It's just you just can't guard left-handers. Like it's very hard because you got to go through their body to contest shots. And that's like the hardest thing. I mean, to be a lefty and play basketball, like you already got a talent that a lot of people already don't have. And he does exactly what the team needs. He rebounds the ball, he gets blocks, he gets his dunks, he gets the team involved, and that team is just very, very dynamic.
I think a big thing to touch on what makes these programs so successful, like Gateway Charter, Charlotte, Sarasota. It's when the average high school team doesn't have 3, 4, 5 guys that can score.
Mm-hmm.
And you play Charlotte and say Jordan Atia has an off night. Well, it's coming from somewhere else. Where the average high school team, if you shut down their best player, your chances of winning increase dramatically.
Yep.
So, when you have a team like Gateway Charter or Charlotte who has 5, 6, 7 guys who can all play at a high level, I think that sets you way above the pack.
And I'm thinking of it like, back when I was in high school and we made the state run, I mean, we were so deep with talent where it didn't matter who went off. Like, I could go off, Malik could go off, Vic could go off. We could have someone come off the bench. Like it's so hard when you have a team, just like how Zach said, it's so hard to guard. Just imagine trying to guard 5 people that can score. Like that's the reality of it. A lot of these programs just don't have that luxury. They have their one or two guys. Hey, go ahead. Hey, get 30 if you can.
Yeah.
And if you can't, then it's like the coaches are kind of like, well, we don't know what to do. So some of these teams that have 4 or 5 players, good luck to their opponents because it could be a long night. And then, I mean, the last team we have to cover is we had on there was Venice. Very, very young team that has talent. I think the way Venice is going to
also a young coach, my good friend.
Yep, Luke.
You know, he's doing a great job over there. You know, trying to build something that really, you know, is hard because you have Venice football, which is such a respected program, who, you know, is guaranteed to go to states every year. And, you know, if you have any good football players that are playing basketball, you're not getting them till mid-season. So, you know, it's hard to build something when it's so inconsistent on, you know, getting your athletes back from football. And, you know, it does cause issues. I mean, you know, you start the season playing, you get the football guys back who are more athletic, more talented, and they get thrown into the rotation. You know, it just kind of messes up the chemistry. So, you know, I commend Luke for, you know, trying to build in that. And, you know, they have a young team who we're pretty excited to watch this year. You know, a lot of people were upset that Venice was number 5. But, I mean, I think people will definitely be surprised when they play Venice this year.
Yeah, you know, Venice is always a team that's going to be scrappy. I mean, dating back to when we were in high school, it was always, you know, it was one of those games where it was always chippy and, yeah, we pull away at the ends. You know, we might win by that 12, 15-point margin. But the whole game, you're like, hey, if we don't get this stop, Venice could honestly take over the game. Always scrappy with Venice. I mean, they're young. I think the biggest thing Luke is going to have to really hammer down is just really the maturity of some of the younger kids and just, you know, some of these kids are freshmen, sophomores playing varsity minutes. That's already a tough task in itself. And then on top of that, it's not only, you know, playing these varsity minutes, but what are you doing with these varsity minutes? You know, are you being a contributor or are you just kind of out there lost? And if that's the case, then you know, you can't play them. So although they're young and talented, the game is probably too fast for them. So I think if the kids can get, you know, mature, if they can mature a lot faster than what their actual age is, I think Luke will he'll be set to make a nice little run in this program this year. And you know, he's definitely in one of those tough districts, you know, where you have Northport, you have the Lehigh, who's very good, you know, you have the Sarasota's very good, you have a Riverview who
is very good,
a new coach, but all these kids, like they've been playing each other since elementary school. You know what I mean? So it's like, at the end of the day, I think Venice, definitely their maturity is going to be either, if they can mature fast enough, I see Venice being a good program. If they kind of lag on the maturity and the coach connection of what Luke is trying to guide them to do, we can see some struggles there, but definitely excited to see kind of what he puts together.
And, you know, I think it's a team that will probably struggle the first 5-6 games of the season, you know, trying to find their identity and the trying to get these young kids to realize the jump from middle school to high school is astronomical. And I think it's overlooked a lot on how much faster the game is sped up between high school and even JV basketball. I mean, I know we're talking about varsity, but a lot of these kids just think, you know, they were so good as an 8th grader, you know, playing against 7th, 6th graders. They go to high school, now they're playing against kids older than them. And, you know, I think that often gets overlooked by a lot of the good 8th graders coming in. So, you know, Luke definitely has his hands full with that because I do know a couple freshmen that will be playing varsity. And, I mean, they're just super young. So, you know, there's a learning curve for them. But I think, you know, with him, they'll figure it out. And, you know, I like young coaches. I think, you know, it's kind of in right now. So he's doing a good job, and I'm looking forward to it. So, hop over to the girls.
Yeah, we'll hop over to the girls. I mean, obviously there should be no second guessing why Carter Mooney's ranked number 1. Carter Mooney's number 1 for a lot of reasons. And, I mean, we can talk about individual players, but we can just talk about the program in itself. I mean, they've been doing this for a couple of years now, just continuously winning. And that's what makes a good program. You got to win in order to build a program. You got to win to kind of get interest from other players to even want to join your program. So with Carter Mooney, you got 3-star, you got a 4-star. I mean, the 3-star Callie Barrett is arguably definitely probably she's number one for sure on the list.
Maddie.
And then you got Maddie. She's a sophomore, 4-star, like Power 5. Like these are two girls that I'm talking about put hours and hours in the gym. Which is as bad as it sounds for the other girls, I've just never seen girls put in work the way that they do. Like there's never a time that I'm like, scrolling on Instagram, they're in the lab working. They're in the lab working. And it's like it got to the point that, for talent around here, you have to do that every single day. Like it has to be in you to say like, hey, I'm gonna get up, I'm gonna go do a 5 a.m. workout. After that, I'm gonna go to school all day. After that, I'm gonna get shots up. I'm gonna work out again. Then I'm gonna go to team practice.
And I think they understand that this area doesn't get the recognition that they should get. So they're putting in the extra work so they do get that recognition.
Yep.
And I mean it shows by miles. I mean some other players on Mooney, Talia, Simonique, Riley, who transferred from Venice. These are all girls that know their role and know what's expected of them and have played past into February. So that's a team that is expected probably this year.
Oh yeah,
to win states.
I got my money on that. If they don't win states, I honestly I don't know how they could lose. You got 8, 9 girls. I'm talking about they probably have 8, 9 girls that can go. So I don't know if the question is going to be a rotational thing. I don't even know how you get that much talent to be able to play. It's so hard. Like, I mean, girls basketball has been evolving, for the past couple of years. And now, like, the high school level, I mean, I remember sometimes I used to go to girls' basketball games, and I'm like, it's hard sometimes to watch.
Nah, there's still some games that are hard to watch.
But, like, when you have 8 girls that can, like, legit play, like, legit know how to dribble the ball, legit know how to do dribble pull-ups, come off screens, make the extra pass, one-handed passes, like behind-the-back passes, that's sometimes more intriguing than just dunks because it takes so much more skill. And I say this all the time. I feel like girls are more skilled basketball players than guys because at the end of the day, they can shoot, they can dribble, they can pass. They're not on the rim, but they're doing almost every other element of basketball that you would want out of a player that some guys just can't do. You might have a guy that can't dribble, but you ask him to go dunk the ball and he can.
Yeah.
Can't play on the court. Like no one's just going to move out of the way so you can dunk the ball. You know what I mean? You got to dribble the ball in order to dunk it. So I'm very, very excited to see this team. I mean, I've done some work, with Riley, so I'll definitely be at some of those games to be able to watch her. But just the Mooney program in itself and what they've done to uplift girls basketball in this area is tremendous. So
and they all know their role. They're not all trying to score 25, 30 points. At the end of the day, they just want to win. And I think you see a difference with teams like that when they play into February. It's not one person trying to get all the buckets. They just move the ball around, just play within themselves, and it shows. Programs like that, and that kind of leads us into our next program in Venice. Who is a highly respected program going through a coaching change. Our good friend Tyson Smiley taking over the program. Coming from coaching boys, JV boys, where he was 21-4.
20. I think he went undefeated. I think it was 25-0 actually.
Yeah, so and they're super talented too. The O'Leary sisters.
Yep, you got the O'Leary sisters. You got Addie. I mean, these are 3 girls that have won back-to-back district championships. Past 3 years? They know how to win, and I think that's going to be the best thing for Tyson is to be able to be around girls who already has that winning DNA, who knows the game of basketball. Where it's like he doesn't have to stoop down to, hey, I got to reteach you this and this. Like you have 3-4 seniors on that team that have been with that program for the past 3 years that have been on winning teams every year. So very excited to see them. I mean, the O'Leary twins, they're just, I mean, you got a 6-foot forward that can get the ball. She can put the ball in the rim. She can shoot. Then you got a 6'2", that's down low, but she pulls up mid-range. Very athletic on her feet. She plays volleyball. You got a point guard that literally is a floor general. I mean, Addie can pick you up 94 feet, and she can also run the offense and probably not even break a sweat. So that team is definitely going to be very, very excited.
And has a lot of, complementary pieces that, probably won't get as much recognition, but they're a team that that does play team basketball, that
Yep.
that gets it. There will be a little learning curve for our buddy Tyson. Way slower than boys basketball, but he knows what he's doing, so he'll
Yep.
figure it out. And we're looking forward to seeing that team as well. Next, we got Port Charlotte, who is a team that went to the Final Four last year.
Yep, a team, another program that's just been winning. That seems to be kind of the tradition with them, is to win. They've been winning for the past couple of years, and to make it a Final Four last year, that just kind of shows you the standard that I believe Coach Mike is teaching these girls. Is like, hey, you want to be the best of the best, like you got to keep continuing to climb. I believe the past 2 or 3 years they probably won districts, probably lost in that regional quarterfinals, and then last year they finally got over that trump and went to Final Four. A lot of pieces on that team. I know Haley Cohen. I know she's going to be a senior, so a huge.
It's crazy. I remember I played with Adam in high school. Haley was like this big, and
Yep.
you kind of just knew early on that she was gonna be special. Just be watching her grow up. So we're excited for that.
And I mean, that team is just they have so many pieces. I look at that program kind of like a Venice. You got your 2 to 3 studs on the team, but you got everyone around them that is just complementary. Everyone knows their role. A girl might come in the game, shoot a 3, she might not play again, but that 3 changed the whole summary of the game. And I think that's the biggest part, is just building a good program, is winning and finding those players that'll do whatever it takes in order to get to that next.
And I think a big thing is like players like Callie, Maddie, these younger players, they see what it takes, and that kind of motivates them, to carry on. And that's why you see these programs that there's never really a drop off, because they know what's expected of them, so they're raising their expectations every year as they get older. So Callie, Maddie, they're going to move on, do great things, and the next wave's going to come in, and they already know what's expected of them, seeing these players put in the work, how they work at practice, what's expected of them.
Mm-hmm.
So those programs, you kind of just see like it's always kind of uphill, maybe a little downhill, but it never falls off. So I think that's a big thing that you see with some of these programs that we're going to talk about and highlight is just consistency.
Yeah.
You're not going to a district championship every year, but as long as you're competing, I think that's a big thing, and eventually it will fall into place.
Right.
Next we have Riverview, who is also a talented team.
Yep.
Teddy knows a little more about them than me, so I'll let him take the lead on this one.
Yeah, Riverview is definitely one of those tough programs. They lost their senior last year, Susan, who probably one of the most athletic girls I've had the pleasure of watching. She's now at Clemson. She's a D1 lacrosse player. So that goes to show you kind of a player that they're truly going to miss. They lost another guard. I believe she's at Booker now. But they're young. That's the thing about it. They're young. They're going to be led by Ava Sims, who's probably one of the top girls in this area. She's going into her senior year. And then she has another senior guard, Kirsten. She's played varsity. She's a starting point guard. And then they got some complementary pieces. They have 2 sophomores coming in, Taylor Davidson. They have Ava Noto. So the team is, most of the players, besides these 2 seniors that are leaving, they're all sophomores.
Yeah, so that just goes to show, they're going to learn this year from Ava and the other guard, and, the expectations are going to stay the same. You got to figure out what we got to do to maintain, the trajectory of this program.
And it's going to be one of those things with Coach Perry as well, is just the maturity. You have a lot of young girls on the team, a lot of emotions built behind that. Whether it be playing time, whether it be, girls, they get very emotional in this game. So, he's going to have to figure out his balance between kind of just coaching them and then also being like just there for them as far as support. When you have a young team that's going out, they got 2 seniors that's leaving, it's going to be tough to see kind of how he does it. But if they can mature early on in the season, I think we see them in the district championship probably against Venice.
Yeah.
So
2 7A schools that have played each other multiple times. Always, it's never a blowout.
Yep.
a lot of come from behind wins, and a team that will probably play each other 3 times this year.
Yeah, probably for sure.
So number 5, Charlotte Tarpons, who are on a different trajectory this year. Matt Stevenson went from girls basketball over to Northport High. So that's a big change. He brought all his brothers with him. Always respected them. They took Charlotte to heights that probably people never imagined. So respect him there, and so they have a new coach, whole different philosophy. So I'll let Teddy touch on that a little bit. Teddy's talked to him multiple times, so let's.
Yeah, their new coach, Anthony Bryant. Congratulations to you. Coming back, it looks like their star player has left. Cammie Ellis. I think she's transferred somewhere.
Miami Country Day.
Miami Country Day. So that's a huge blow. You're talking about a girl that the girl can play. So to be able to lose your star player that's probably giving you 20 points a game, that's always a tough blow, especially on a new coach, coming into a new environment and trying to take the program higher than what the Stevenson's brother left, which that's already a task in itself, but he does have CC Bills. A lot of you girls know her. Young, can play.
Hungry.
Yep, young, hungry, can play. So she's definitely going to have to carry the team this year. I think that they're definitely young, and being a new coach in a new environment with young players, your star player just left. You got another star player on the horizon. It's so much adversity. I think Coach Anthony is going to have to overcome. But I think he's built for it. He's ready. Yeah. I mean, I've seen this guy post relentless times of just being in the gym with his team, and I think that's the biggest thing for these programs is like how often are these girls or guys in the gym? Like, you got to be a gym rat if you're truly trying to do something with the game of basketball. It can't be, you're going to work out one day, for a couple of hours, you post on Instagram, blah, blah, blah. You don't work out for a couple of days, then you go back. It has to be every single day. And from what I'm seeing with Charlotte, they're in there, they're learning. They're learning, they're young, they're hungry. So very excited to kind of see where he goes. Don't want to set the bar too high for him, just because. I mean, the team's young. He's in a new environment.
And I think a big thing for him is not to get caught up with trying to match what Matt and them did there. They had a completely different talent pool and build it up. It didn't happen overnight. So I think a big thing for him and the young girls is to not get caught up in that. People are going to say, oh, Charlotte's not that good anymore, but just stay the course and just keep building, because it doesn't happen overnight. And going back to what you said about being a gym rat, a lot of successful coaches you see are always in the gym. Saturday, it's a full-time job, even after season, just continuing to open the gym for the girls. And I think that strengthens the relationship and makes the people want to play hard for you. A big thing for me and when I coach is like, you got to give them a reason to play hard for you. They're not just going to be like, oh, this is my coach, I'm going to play hard.
Right.
You gotta motivate them to want to go to war for you, because that's the biggest thing.
Yeah, and I guess what I would say too is for the new coaches we have, from both boys and girls. We have Coach Matt Stevenson, the Stevenson brothers. They're all at Northport now. We have Coach Tyson Smiley. He's with the Venice girls now. Anthony Bryant. He's now with Charlotte, and even the Booker's coach, Ty Bryant. I think he's taken over that program as well. And the biggest thing, I think that one of the biggest things that you guys can harp on when you feel like maybe you're not sure where this program is going is get involved with the community. I've seen a lot of stuff with Anthony Bryant. I'm pretty sure they did like a hurricane cleanup, which I haven't seen a program do. And I mean, since we were in high school when we used to do community cleanup. So like that's when you have the community behind you, man. It does the program so much more, and it's like a stress. It's so much stress relief off of you, because we have a lot of people here that loves basketball, coming to the games and stuff, but you got to do stuff for them, and then they come and support you. Like, you can't just walk in and, oh, I'm the new coach, they're just going to come because they want to see. Nah, that's not how it is. Get
in
involved.
This area, at least,
Yeah.
States like Indiana, basketball is like big deal. Like stadium, they fill out stadiums for games.
Right.
So, you know, you got to make the community want to show up for you. And I think, you know, all of them will figure it out.
Yeah.
And I think they're all doing a great job. I know Matt's doing a great job. Seeing what he's been doing with the 3-on-3 league with Northport, kind of collaborating with the MPYB.
Yeah, exactly. Slowly getting involved. I see Tyson, you know, he's active in the Venice community, which is always supportive. I mean, that school in itself with the programs, it's like it's kind of hard not to be involved in community because they do so much. But that reflects the program and like how good they are. But that would be my biggest thing for the new coaches is just stay the course. You know, Rome wasn't built in a day. Learn from your mistakes, and hopefully this first year of you guys' new endeavor not only teaches you, you know, as a coach, but more as a person. You get to learn more and keep building from there. So
yeah, I mean, so you know, season's right around the corner.
Yeah, like next week.
Yep, tryouts already happened. You know, we got girls preseason starting, I think, this upcoming week.
Yep.
Followed by the boys, and then, you know, season's going to be in full swing come Thanksgiving. So you'll definitely see us at some games. Our advice, just play ball. You know, don't get caught up in, you know, trying to score. Just play within your role. That's pretty much all I got.
Yeah. Don't get caught up in the cameras. Obviously, we know cameras are going to be everywhere. People are taking pictures, blah, blah, blah. Just go out there and play your game. Don't do something that you've never done before, you know, because the cameras are there. Do what you're tasked to do, and let the game come to you. Don't force it. Just naturally let it come to you. You girls and guys have worked all summer with team camps, with AAU, individual workouts. Now it's finally starting to just let it pay off. Just go out there and play. And like I said, we will definitely see most of you girls and guys on the court this year, and good luck. Praying that everyone has a great season, injury-free. And, yeah, you'll be seeing the Unfiltered Hoop shirts around, and you guys can come up to us, hey, ask questions, whatever you want to do. I'm more than happy to give any insight, resources that I have to see you succeed at the next level. So,
yeah. So, I mean, that's pretty much all we got for today. So we'll catch y'all on the next episode. See y'all.
See ya.
We come to collect.